believe wholeheartedly that Jay's your father.
I really do.
You've been ducking this boy's DNA for all this what? Take this test!
Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else.
Chances are, just out of nowhere, random universal selection, this boy who's not related to you has your nose, has your mouth, has your brow line, has your hairline.
50 Cent is prospering right now because Jay-Z received a legal bombshell that might blow everything apart. A recent court ruling states that Rymir Carter's paternity case is still pending. No more delays, no more concealing.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, their heartburn, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole.
And what do you know? Jay-Z has until July 18th to provide his final response. Or it might spiral even faster. However, this is where it starts to get blatantly dramatic. According to rumors, 50 Cent is directly funding Rymir's legal expenses. Indeed, precisely. He is allegedly footing the bill for the entire lawsuit. Even worse, he is making Ree the main focus of his next documentary, which is already expected to expose the malfeasance of Diddy and Jay-Z. This is more than just legal. This has to do with legacy, power, and reputations.
And had intercourse with him. How old was she?
I would say I think she was about 16, 17, or 16, just turning 16 or 17. I know it was one of them.
And Jay-Z was what age?
I wouldn't happen to know. I think he was in his 20s?
I read 22.
Oh, yeah.
I think I read 22, but he was in.
Yes, I wouldn't happen to know.
It has developed into a real confrontation. Now let's talk about the real problems. This controversy is scarcely new. Rymir has been claiming to be Jay-Z's biological son for years. His mother also claims that she began dating Jay in 1992 at the age of 16 because of this. It goes beyond tabloid gossip.
But, I still gotta live for myself at the end of the day. I still gotta work and bring in income for me. I can't sit around. I gotta get up off my feet and do something. I can't wait on the world. Like, I can't say, I can't wait on anybody to want to respond when they want to. It is important that I know who my biological father is, just because, my mom's health, I don't know if it's coming from our family or it's coming from the other side, and that would be something I really would want to find out, because, in the future, you don't know what could happen. And a lot of people are so quick to judge because they see somebody coming out and try to find out if the person, trying to find out things, they so negative.
If even a fraction of this is true, it's game over. The most ridiculous twist is this one. Sources claim that Beyoncé has been working tirelessly behind the scenes to stop this story. Finally, after 50 Cent poked the beehive, a judge said, "Let's run it." Suddenly, this issue went from being discussed in whispers to a full-scale controversy. On the streets, there is a lot of discussion about how Jay-Z's entire world may be destroyed by this whole mess. His billion-dollar business was shaky, his marriage was in danger, and his reputation was on the line. Let's travel back in time. Though, really? Who is Rymir Carter? And why has this case been dragging on for over a decade with so little attention to date? Despite what some people believed, his real name is Rymir Satway, not Carter. Nor is he merely seeking influence. This man has been seeking the truth since he was 19. He has devoted over half of his life to trying to prove one thing: that Jay-Z is his biological father. Rymir's mother, Wanda, claims that in the early 1990s, while she was still a minor, she first met Jay-Z. Things happened when she tried to get in touch with Crickets after being pregnant. He left her. No responses, no support, no silence. Rymir is done being kind. He's grown up. He wants the truth, which is why he's coming with heat. However, this is where things become even messier. At first, Jay-Z's crew tried to be kind, according to Rymir's godmother. Lily Kai, Rymir's musical prowess even led them to contemplate putting him on Roc Nation. But then, everything changed. The tone changed suddenly. When new lawyers took over, the atmosphere cooled. Certainly something took place behind the scenes. So why did Jay-Z's squad suddenly decide to take a different route? Let's be truthful. When they realized how far this could go legally, panic probably set in. We're talking about more than a little scandal. Transcends age, if Rhee's story is any guide. It has to do with crossing state lines with a minor. Jay-Z was previously charged with driving a 16-year-old from Philadelphia to Brooklyn. That is not just messy, but it may even be against the law. His lawyers have been pursuing this action for over 10 years, which makes sense. They have been doing everything they can to bury it, postpone it, and stop it. Because if this goes wrong, his whole empire may fall. We may be discussing criminal investigations, litigation, and public outcry, depending on how far this goes. Let's take another look at it. Since he was a teenager, our 32-year-old man has been looking for answers. Before she died, his mother, who tragically passed away, gave a signed statement explaining all that reportedly transpired. At last, a court is pursuing this subject because it has had enough of the legal squabbling. It won't go away this time. Remember that 50 Cent is in the front row, watching all of this as well. Rymir is not only giving him money, but he is also preparing the Diddy and Jay-Z expose interview.
When a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp, and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay, about regarding saying Rymir needs to go away, little boy, something to that effect. It was something out there. But people were saying that she's a big part of the problem for him, and some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not.
This isn't only a legal issue anymore. Jay's timing in this transition in hip-hop power couldn't be worse. People are reevaluating their assumptions about the industry's biggest performers, particularly Diddy, who is already coming under fire. There are now whispers that Jay-Z might be directly connected to some of the evidence that Diddy was charged with using. The game is evolving. Finally, those who have been kept silent for years are being given a voice, even though Jay-Z thought this would never happen again. 2025 tossed caution to the wind. Additionally, nothing is still buried. Let's start at the beginning now. 1992. Jay-Z was still putting forth a lot of effort, and was only beginning to make a name for himself as a rapper. Wanda, Rymir's mother, says that's when she first met him. She says Jay drove her straight to his aunt's house in Brooklyn after picking her up in Philadelphia. The question is raised by it alone. Why would you want to ship an adolescent girl across states? It's not simply dubious. It's practically illegal. 2 weeks later, she says he came back for one last visit and vanished. No calls, no communication, nothing. He completely left her behind. The issue gets considerably worse at this point. The narrative is much more complicated than most people think. According to Wanda's close friend, Dr. Lily Coley, the alleged event occurred at a place where Jay-Z was still known by his street name, Roc. But it wasn't just any quiet block. It was a well-known hotspot for drug trafficking. According to Coley, Jay was working hard outside as well. When Wanda found out she was pregnant, she had no method of communicating with him. She therefore took the action that many young girls who are terrified take. Shep her ex-boyfriend, Robert Graves, on the birth certificate, but it was a temporary lie. Let's go ahead to 2011. It was clear from Robert's DNA test results. He wasn't the father. The courts officially deleted his name. Wanda only admitted to having connections with Robert and Jay, so Ree decided it was time to stop speculating and start fighting. By filing a paternity case in 2010, he formally made it official. But things quickly got complicated. The paperwork was haphazard. As the matter remained remanded, Jay-Z's legal team was not making an effort to cooperate. there was more to this than a simple family dispute. It was the start of a protracted fight with one of the most well-known people in music. According to Rymir, Jay-Z's legal staff has been behaving dishonestly since the start and has even bought off judges and lawyers to conceal the truth. To be honest, the way this issue has been handled makes you question whether he is being truthful. This litigation has been dismissed, refiled, shifted from court to court, and postponed numerous times, making it feel like a terrible recurrence. Every time Rymir gets close to an answer, the goalposts change. At one point, Jay-Z's lawyers even argued that he couldn't be forced to take a DNA test in New Jersey because he didn't own any real estate there. Really, that was their defense. But what do you know? Rymir had brought the receipts. He discovered documents confirming that Jay-Z actually owned real estate in New Jersey at the time, completely refuting his defense. This is where things start to get suspicious. When Rymir disclosed that Jay-Z did own property in New Jersey, you would think the court would finally move forward with the DNA test, wouldn't you? Not true. Instead of moving forward, the case was mysteriously redirected and rejected again. As the legal team circled like a hot potato, still playing defense. Furthermore, Rymir is not a troll on the internet. For almost a decade, he has been engaged in this war, dropping evidence, using his own money, and refusing to back down. He even took the case all the way to the Supreme Court in an attempt to get justice, but it was rejected once more. As he climbs higher, he comes across more brick barricades. Why is that? People with knowledge of the situation say that Jay-Z's team has done everything they can to delay, deny, and redirect. From conveniently skipping deadlines to contesting court jurisdictions, it is granting power movements to serving as a disguise. If this man truly has nothing to hide, why hasn't he just taken the DNA test and cleared his name? Is now a question that even legal experts are starting to ask. Rymir makes it pretty clear. If he's not my father, prove it to me. But Jay-Z B, absolutely silent. No openness, no outright denial, no statements. Rumors that this is more than just a test are growing in the meanwhile. It's about what the results would show. Not just for Rymir, but for Jay-Z's entire marriage, history, brand, and image. By now, everyone is furrowing their brows. Since there are other factors at play here besides DNA, Rymir's camp claims that there are other reasons besides paternity for Jay-Z's severe avoidance of the test. Lawsuits, demands for child support, and the kind of public scrutiny Jay has been avoiding for decades could result from the test if it validates Rymir's allegations. This isn't just a he says, she says situation anymore. You see, it has to do with accountability under the law. Money is vital, but so is image. If it turns out that Rymir is Jay-Z's biological son, he may sue retroactively for financial aid, lost chances, and other causes. And millions are at stake here. Furthermore, it could undermine Jay-Z's well-maintained persona as a devoted husband and father. Additionally, Rymir's legal team has been attempting to acquire access to records and sealed documents that were not thoroughly investigated the first time. Documents that demonstrate the amount of work Jay-Z's staff did to keep this a secret might exist. Furthermore, 50 Cent fanned the fires and made the whole thing widely known. There is more pressure than ever before. This isn't just a personal issue anymore. Every step is watched intently by fans who are ready to intervene if Jay makes even the slightest mistake. It's an impressive spectacle. Now, every move, court appearance, and interview pertaining to this case is being examined by the internet. Rymir isn't giving up, even though Jay-Z's silence is starting to feel like a response in and of itself. Because, let's be honest, if someone has been posing as your child for more than a decade, wouldn't you fire them after just one test? Just one, but Jay hasn't. And the silence is just making things worse. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's name is still associated with the dispute. Several insiders claim that she has been doing all in her power to keep this problem from harming her brand. Rumor has it that she has been pressuring Jay to handle it privately before it completely takes over her life. And is she truly to blame? The foundations of her entire empire are beauty, control, and perfection. Chaos is occurring right now, but there's more. The striking synchrony has been brought to the notice of fans. All of this is taking place at the same time that the law is actively targeting a number of prominent hip-hop artists. Diddy's empire is appended. Others are being investigated. Currently, Jay's is illegally hiding a decades-old paternity scandal. The general public is starting to wonder how big this brotherhood really is. Who is being safeguarded, and at what expense? It's not only about Rymir anymore. There is a pattern, a silent system, manipulation, and erasing. And Rymir's erasure is finished. He is forcing the most well-known hip-hop personality to face the problem he has avoided for years. The fact that 50 Cent is no longer only mocking Jay-Z is obvious. He is contributing to what could turn out to be the biggest paternity dispute in the history of hip-hop. Time is running out now that a judge has finally placed pressure on this case. Rymir Carter is not going to give up. No PR spin, no hush deals, no retreat. And as the deadline of July 18th draws near, Jay-Z has nothing more to conceal. We need answers for the globe. Will he eventually take the DNA test? Or will he employ another legal ruse to evade the truth? There is no doubt that 50 Cent is not slowing down. He will keep riding this wave, making sure that everyone knows about every turn. It goes beyond just disclosing secrets in movies or interviews. It's about destroying the basis of Jay-Z's painstakingly crafted identity. If we had only just started, which is the finest part. The question is whether Have will finally face the repercussions or keep playing the game that has been popular for decades. Anyway, while we and the supporters watch, 50 is grinning like he just won the lottery. What do you believe Jay-Z will do next? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Should he take the test or keep avoiding it? Additionally, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want deeper conversations.